What's good, YouTube? This your boy Derek Rich, SportsView360.com, covering the New Saints today. And today I just want to break down what occurred today in day three of Saints training camp 2025, the third day of Saints training camp. And based on what I've heard and observed for the last couple of days since start of training camp, was that the offense looked a little bit out of sync. And that's normal. That should be normal for a team that's bringing in a brand new head coach, a a rookie quarterback. You got a quarterback that has experience from last year, going into his second year, but he's also learning a new offense. And then you got another quarterback, um, you know, who comes over from the previous regime. He's learning a new offense. But from what I heard today is that everything was pretty well. And a player that stood out was Spencer Rattler. I heard that he had a really good game today, and not taking anything else from the other two QBs, but they're saying that Rattler stole the show today. Now, in attendance today, um, Alvin Kamara, Eric McCoy, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Devin Gacho all had rest days for the day. So that's pretty much your veteran core right there. They had the day off. So they pretty much observed everything from the sideline. And today Jake Hayner took the first team reps. Looked pretty good from what I've heard. Looked pretty good. Rashid Shaheed had some good moments out there. Heard from they're saying that he's bulked up now. He's over 190 pounds. Added some muscle. Hayner had was really good doing the 7-on-7s, connecting on all four of his passes, including one against some tight coverage on Mason Tipton. And he had a really good game as well, from what I heard, from what I've been reading. Tyler Shough you didn't really hear a lot about Tyler Shough today, according to the reports. He only had 5 plays today during practice, but he did get um, more reps during the development with the third team after the practice. But overall, he was 3 or 4 on 7-on-7s. You know, and they've been having an issue with from what I heard from Nick Underhill, is that they've having an issue with the centers in regards to hiking the ball. There have been some miscues in that area, but according to what Underhill has been saying is that Kellen Moore has been correcting these mistakes on the spot, compared to a previous regime that just let things fly and let these type of issues go into the actual regular season games and not say anything about it. Kellen Moore is connecting the stuff, correcting the stuff on the spot. And from what I heard yesterday is that one of those players got one of the centers, I think it was the backup, got taken off a drill because of a bad snap. So that's one big improvement right there, you know. But Mason Tipton, from what I heard today, Mason Tipton balled out. Mason Tipton had a really good game in training camp, working with Spencer Rattler, um, and the other quarterbacks. But what everybody's saying right now, the consensus is that Spencer Rattler has the upper hand in this QB battle. He has the upper hand. He is the quarterback that is looking the more polished out of the three. Out of between or him, Tyler Shough, and Jake Hayner, is Spencer Rattler leading the way, from what I've heard. And Mason Tipton had a pretty good game, So I think that's great. I think that's good stuff to know. But here's the thing, though, right? This is the thing. They gotta put this stuff into practice in the games, in these preseason games. It has to translate from training camp drills, sessions, to actual game footage, actual game time. This stuff, all this stuff has to translate over. Because if not, it's just fool's gold. And there's been many times where we get these reports coming out of training camp about how good these players look during the sessions. But when we actually get to the games, the preseason games, when you're playing guys in live action and it's your time to shine, they don't come through, you know? So I'm not just talking about the quarterbacks. I'm not talking about just Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner and Tyler Shough. I'm talking about the wide receivers, the players that are trying out for this team, like Mason Tipton. Mason Tipton. That stuff has to translate over because last year he had the same type of training camp, but once we got into the regular season, Mason Tipton was nowhere to be found. MIA, you know. So hopefully that with this new regime, coaching staff, things will be a lot different. But they say Spencer Rattler went 6 for 6 doing full team drills and 4 for 4 doing 7-on-7. So so far he's been knocking it out of the park, man. Knocking it out of the park so far. Tyler Shough went 3 or 4, like I said, during the 7-on-7s. But according to the reports, one of the biggest plays out there was when Shough made a pass, connected on the pass to Juwan Johnson, where the timing was just on point. He also threw a pass um open. You know, so and Juwan Johnson he connected on this pass while Johnson was double covered by J.T. Gray and Terrell Burgess. You know, so I think we had a lot of good things to talk about today. A lot of good takeaways from today's session, but it's going to take time. I didn't expect the stuff. I didn't expect these guys to knock it out of the park the first couple of days of training camp. It never works like that, especially with a younger team. A young team, you install a new offense. It wasn't gonna work like that. But I'm glad to know that it's getting there slowly, and I'm glad that they're showing patience. I'm glad that it's good to know that Kellen Moore is noticing mistakes and correcting it on the spot. You know, so if it continues like this, if Rattler comes out there and continues to perform like this, and it translates over the training camp, not the training camp, it translates over to the preseason games where he's given the opportunity to start. I think they're gonna go with Spencer Rattler as your starting quarterback. That's what I think is gonna happen. You're gonna give him a trial run during the regular season. If it gets real bad, you're gonna go to Shough. That's what I think is gonna happen. I know a lot of y'all looking at that contract that Shough signed, that fully guaranteed deal. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot of money. It's not. That doesn't mean that guarantee, that fully guaranteed deal, doesn't mean that Shough is handed the job. And I know, I mean, they're gonna play the guy that they believe gives them the best chance to win games this season. They're gonna play the guy that gives them the best chance to win the NFC South. Plain and simple. And if they think Riley's that guy, they're gonna go. They're gonna do it. I mean, if the based on how Rattler plays, and if they lose games not because of Rattler, they're gonna keep him in it. They're gonna keep him in that slot. They will, because this is still not a really good division. You know, so only the first week of training camp, a lot can happen in these next couple of days to where Shough gets the momentum and it translate over the preseason. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, Spencer Rattler is clearly, to me, in my opinion, in the lead. Now we know that, like I said, it all has to translate over to game time action. And if it doesn't, it was just fool's gold. But so far, I like what I see. I like what I'm hearing out of training camp. I like that these things, guys, mistakes are getting corrected on the spot. To me, that's my biggest takeaway. Correct things, correct these miscues on the spot. The coaching staff has to do that. In that way, during the regular season, this team could look more disciplined compared to what we saw under the previous regime led by Dennis Allen. So that's all I have for y'all for right now. Um, Week one of Saints training camp 2025 is almost in the books. They'll get back at it, you know, soon, and I have another breakdown possibly on what occurred. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed day. Peace. I'm out.